To begin the Respifit S setup for each patient, the clinician should ensure the patient has his or her patient module, a personal data card, and access to a control unit. Per the device directions for use, the patient module should be assembled and connected to the control unit, and personal data card inserted into the card slot. The control unit is to be plugged into a power supply. Before a patient commences therapy, the clinician must determine the patient-specific settings and save them on the patient's personal data card. Once these patient-specific settings are initially in place in the patient data card, upon placement of the personal data card into the control unit, an introductory screen on the control unit will automatically be displayed with the patient name ready for training. The first step in setting up the Respifit S is to establish the PI max. The PI max is a parameter of inspiratory muscle strength. From the startup screen, enter the Strength Setup menu and press the down arrow key. From there, you will see a screen that reminds you to set the patient module to the strength setting. Once the patient module is set, hit the down arrow key to move the PI max testing screen. From here, the patient performs the measurements. For initial PI max determination, starting from the point of maximum expiration, the patient's task is to perform an inspiratory maneuver against a close to maximum resistance. This subjects the respiratory muscles, and the diaphragm in particular, to maximum strain. By breathing in sharply and with maximum force, a peak in the inspiratory curve should be achieved, which is shown on the screen during the measurement. The patient performs a predefined number of inspiratory maneuvers with pauses in between. Once the 5 measurements are taken, the 3 highest measurements are selected and the mean value is calculated. The results will be displayed as PI max value on the screen and will be stored in the personal data card. Settings for the number of measurements and pause time between each for determining the PI max can be entered in the options. Settings can also be viewed and adjusted from the Strength submenu. Moving around the Strength submenu is easy with the left and right arrow keys. Selecting the Settings submenu is done by pressing the down arrow key. From here, the clinician can view the key parameters. The minimum pressure, which has a default value of 80% of PI max, can also be adjusted by using the left and right arrow keys. The number of exercises can be set and changed as well. Also, the permitted failed attempts can be determined for the exercise blocks as shown. The pause time between exercises is set here in the Strength submenu. From here, you can move back to the Settings submenu by pressing the button with the circle. To move to the Endurance submenu, press the down arrow key to enter the T-limb assessment module. The next screen shown will be a confirmation screen showing a balloon and letting you know that the patient module needs to be set at resistance A. Once this is confirmed, proceed to the T-limb setup. T-limb is a unique measurement that measures the amount of time to fatigue measured by the time it takes for 4 successive unsuccessful attempts to achieve 60% of the PI max value. Like in the Strength submenu, selecting the Settings submenu is done by pressing the down arrow key. From here, the clinician can view the key parameters. The resistance setting, which has a default value of 60% of PI max, can also be adjusted by using the left and right arrow keys. The number of endurance exercises can be set and changed as well. Also, the permitted failed attempts at an endurance exercise can be determined for the exercise blocks as shown. The pause time between exercises is set here in the Endurance submenu. Additional settings can be changed from the Settings menu. For example, the patient's name can be added or changed. Press the down arrow key to enter the patient's name submenu. Then, using the arrow keys, you can select the patient's initials or spell out his or her name. To move back to the Settings menu, press the button with the circle. Move to the Results submenu and press the down arrow key. Within this submenu, you can see the results screen that shows successful and failed trainings in the cumulative. Results for endurance are shown on the next screen. Aborted exercises are shown on the next screen, and the values can be reset by pressing the left arrow key. Further, you can view all the parameters for the patient in this submenu as well. Minute volume, PI max, and T-limb are all shown here. The next submenu is the Sequence submenu. Here you can choose if you want the patient to do strength plus endurance training together, or only strength, or only endurance training. The next setup menu is the options. Here you can set the number of exercises with which to set the strength determination. This number can be changed by using the left and right arrow keys. One can also change the pause time between strength determination exercises at the next menu. Going further, you can set the maximum time in seconds for determining the endurance, and then the final screen within the submenu is where you can set the pressure units either between millibar or centimeters of water. The screen contrast can be set within this submenu. The Respifit S is a global product that comes equipped to suit multiple languages. English, German, Portuguese, Dutch, French, Italian, and Spanish are available on this model, and other models have additional languages. The last submenu item is the card submenu. Here, subject to the menu selection, you can either save standard values on an empty card, read in data from an existing card to the device memory, or save data previously read in from a card to a new card. This option is intended for copying patient chip cards. The Respifit S, an integral part of pulmonary rehabilitation.